Is it accurate that on October 14th of 2008, you requested Detective Dismukes to follow up with the people that had called the police and reported seeing female joggers that resembled Nancy?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any independent recollection of the people who believed they had seen Nancy Cooper jogging on July 12th?
Yeah, I do have independent information from the supplements that I believe you have supplements on.
But if you have independent recollection, could you simply...
I have the information from the supplements, sir.
Then could you please tell us who the people are that you had Detective Dismukes follow up with?
Again, I would have to go through Detective Dismukes, all of his narratives to tell you that. I see the ones that are, if you're talking about the ones on the 14th, we have Mary Feller, Margot White, Bill Thomas, Heather Christian, and Mike Pashby.
Okay, and then you had him follow up with additional people on the 16th?
Yes.
And who were those people?
I don't know if it's the 16th or the 15th.
Maybe both.
Are you? Okay. I've got Valerie Wenzel, Keith Roberts, and he's got here Beth Fenton. And I guess it's 15th or 16th, Curtis Hodges.
Why did you wait 3 months before asking Detective Dismukes to follow up with these people?
Objection.
The reason why they were followed up on, this investigation started on July 12th, and it hasn't ended yet. When I went back through this information, I decided that it was better to be as safe as we could with the information that we were gathering, to check everything that we could possibly check. One of the things that I saw was that these people that you've mentioned were talked to by field investigators or other officers or had been called. I wanted to ensure that there was no more information that we could get that would assist in an investigation. Your client was not charged until October 28th, so we were still investigating any and all possibilities. So that's why these people were checked.
If you were investigating any and all possibilities, why is it that these people did not warrant follow-up in the days immediately, not even the days, in the hours immediately after they had initially called?
When they initially called, as I said, they spoke to either field investigators, some of them spoke to detectives, some of them spoke to officers. The information that they gathered was the information that they had when they were followed up on.
Well, if somebody provided information to you on July 12th or on July 13th, when Nancy is still a missing person, wouldn't it have been the prudent course of action to immediately, extensively interview that person?
When we received the information, if it was determined to be valid information, as I said, some people said that they knew Nancy and they ran those courses and they didn't see her.
Once you crossed over the bridge, what'd you see?
I saw a lady jogging on the right-hand side of the road. I had a 30-second look. She was on the right-hand side of the road jogging towards the bridge coming up Kildare Farm Road, going towards Penny Road.
So can you describe the woman that you saw?
She's in her mid-30s. She was wearing a white top, dark shorts. They could have been black or blue.
Aside for seeing that jogger, what else did you see at that time?
I saw a late model van stop and make a U-turn coming back towards the lady.
Now, how fast is the van driving?
The van stopped. When I saw the van stopped.
Was it driving before?
Yes, very slow. It just was making its wait for me to go by it, and then it made its U-turn and got in the right lane.
And where was the woman jogging in relation to the van when the van turned?
I'm going to say 100 feet.
Okay, so is the van coming up behind her at that point?
It was coming, she was coming towards the van.
Okay. Now, that means, does that mean that the van is actually now traveling in your direction?
Yes, it does.
When you got to the traffic light, where was the van?
The van was no longer behind me. I did not see the van come up beside me or nothing like that. I mean, the van never caught up to me. So I cannot say exactly where the van went, but it was just odd.
Could you describe the people inside the van, or what you saw about the van?
It was two Hispanic gentlemen.
Okay, and what kind of van are we talking about?
It's a late model, looks like a Chevrolet, and it was red, it's kind of reddish white.
Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Do you recognize the whole flyer?
Yes, I do. This picture of this lady looked real familiar to the lady I saw Saturday morning jog.
What did you say after seeing that flyer?
I went to Mike Brennan, who's the assistant manager at the time, and I told him, I said, Mike, this looks like the lady that was jogging Saturday morning. And he said, well, you need to call the police department and give them and tell them what you saw.
So what did you do at that point? What did you decide to do?
I walked out front and dialed the Cary Police Department on my cell phone.
Okay, and do you know who you spoke to at Cary Police?
No, sir, I do not.
What did you tell them?
I told them I thought I had seen Mrs. Cooper jogging that morning. They said, well, we will get a investigator to call you back.
And after you spoke with law enforcement over the phone on July 14th, when is the next time the police contacted you about what you saw?
It was mid-October.
Was that surprising to you at that point?
Yeah, kind of surprising.
Had you expected contact before that?
Yes, I had.
Could you swear on bet your life that the woman that you saw was Nancy Cooper?
Not on my life, no.
But how confident are you?
90%.
Now, I want to take you to the night of July 11th in 2008. Were you at your home that night?
Yes, sir.
Sometime that night, did something happen that awoke you?
Yes, sir. Our front door slammed and our doorbell went off.
Okay. What did you do when that happened?
Put on a pair of khaki shorts and rushed down to the door.
And what happened then?
I flipped on the lights and went outside.
Now, when you said you rushed down the steps and opened the door, what did you do then? Well, what happened then?
I turned on the lights, rushed outside, and heard some noises over towards the bushes in the cul-de-sac, and then I rushed over that way to see what it was, and I noticed a flash of somebody getting in a van, and they started up the van and sped off down the street.
Now, the van that you saw them getting into, did the interior lights ever come on in the van?
No, sir.
Did the headlights ever come on?
No, sir.
Can you describe the van at this time?
I gave a description that night, but it's 3 years later. I couldn't. Other than that, it sped all the way down to the stop sign with no lights on, and I trotted after it trying to see the license plate, but I couldn't.
Could you tell how many people were inside the van?
No, sir.
Now, after this van sped off, did you call the police?
Immediately.
And did the police come fairly quickly?
Very rapidly.
And did you tell the police officers that night what you'd seen?
Yes, sir.
Now, later in July 12th, did you become aware of the disappearance of Nancy Cooper?
Yes, sir.
And did that concern you?
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
Because we had a van in our neighborhood, and now there's a missing jogger.
Did the police contact you at any time on July 12th?
No, sir.
Now, on Sunday, July 13th, did you have any contact with the Cary Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Could you describe what happened?
There was a roadblock, and we went to the roadblock to give them our contact information.
And what happened to you? Gave them the contact information. Did you?
They did not take it and sent us on our way.
Okay, let me back you up a little bit. Did you tell them about the incident that had happened the night before?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hank.
Good afternoon.
Do you recognize that as being your house?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We could put a marker on that. Okay. Ms. Hink, do you recall what it was that you were doing on the morning of Saturday, July 12th of 2008?
Yes, I was sitting on my front porch reading the newspaper between 7:30 and 8.
And do you recall seeing anything while you were sitting out there that morning?
I glanced up and I saw a girl jog by, and I put my head down to read a little bit more, and a few minutes later, I'd say probably about 5 minutes, another girl went by.
Okay, and when you say jogged by, which direction were they going?
They were going down Fielding Drive into the new subdivision.
Now, when you say two female joggers, were they jogging together or were they separate?
They were separate.
Okay. Are you able to recall what they looked like at that time?
No.
And do you recall what they were wearing or what any of them were wearing?
I remember the first one, she had on light-colored shorts and top, and the second one, I'm not really sure, but it seems like she had on dark shorts and a white top.
Okay. Now, a couple of days later, on July 14th, did you notice anything unusual?
Was this a Sunday?
This would be Monday. Actually, I believe that's right. It's Sunday, so it would be the 13th.
Right. I was taking a walk back in the new subdivision, left my house, went back in the new subdivision,
Okay.
and at the corner of Fielding Drive and Belmont Forest Street, there was a maroon van sitting there, and two Hispanics just leaning against it. And the reason I just remembered it was because, it was a Sunday morning and there wasn't much going on back there, and I just remembered that standing out in my mind.
Was there construction going on back there at the time?
There was, but not a lot where that area is at that time.
Did you ever have any opportunity to speak with law enforcement about what it was you saw on the 12th and the 13th?
Well, I heard that they were canvassing the neighborhood in the new section, and I had mentioned to my husband, he was gone the weekend, and we heard they'd found her body. And I had told him, I said, well, Saturday morning I saw two joggers go by here, and I told him about the van, and he said, well, maybe you should go back there and give that information. Maybe it would help. And so I went in the back, and I saw the Cary police going door to door, and I gave my information.
What did you tell them?
The information about seeing the two girls jogging and the maroon van.
Do you know who it was you spoke to?
It was a female detective cop.
And after that, did the police follow up with you on the information you'd provided?
No.
Has anyone from any law enforcement agency or the district attorney's office ever contacted you since that time about what you saw?
No.